The recording is also starting.
Good evening, sir. Recording I have started. You can start the class.
Okay, all right, all right, all right. Okay, guys, within a minute we will start. Okay, wait a minute, please. Okay, so hello everyone. Let's share the screen once again. Okay, and confirm if it is visible to all of you or not. So is it visible? Okay, so guys, what we are studying? We are studying about the second lesson from your history, that is historiography and tradition in India. Okay, Indian tradition we are studying about. So in that, what we have seen, we have studied a much lesson. Okay, Indian tradition. We have studied that historiography in ancient period, how it was done. Okay, after that we have seen how it changed in the medieval period of the art of history writing, or the method of history writing in the medieval period. And in the modern era, that also we have seen how Britishes started to write down the history of India, okay, with some prejudices. म्हणजेच काय, त्यांच्याबद्दल भारताची जी संस्कृती आहे, भारताची ज्या परंपरा, ट्रॅडिशन, कल्चर आहे, याच्याबद्दल एक पूर्वग्रह होता आणि त्यांनी त्याचं एक प्रकारे उपहास केला. एक प्रकारे आपण म्हणूयात आपली जी काही परंपरा आहे त्याचं हसू केलं. ओके, so we studied about that. We studied about James Mill. Okay, he was the first British officer, okay, who wrote a book, that is the history of British India. So we have concluded up to this. Then we studied about the okay, yes, in the medieval period we studied about the Bakhars. There are different Bakhars. So Bakhari is a historic document, okay, of the medieval time, important type of historical document of medieval times. So we studied about the Alexander Cunningham. Okay, he was the first Director General of Archaeological Survey of India. So the Harappan civilization was discovered during the tenure of Sir John Marshall. After this, after Sir Alexander Cunningham, John Marshall discovered the Harappan civilization in India. Okay, so this is about the history of India. Then we studied different British officers who wrote about the Indian history, but all the history written by them was ridiculed of Indian culture. It was with the prejudices, okay, about our culture, our country, our people. So we studied about that, and to counter all these British historians, okay, as they have shown our culture very bad, okay, they have ridiculed our culture. To counter them, okay, to oppose them, some historians from India like Nilkantha Janardhan Kirtane and Vishwanath Kashinath Rajwade, these two historians, they took upon the task of exposing the limitations of Grant Duff writing. So basically, Grant Duff was one of the historian, one of the officer who wrote about the Indian Maratha history. Okay, he wrote a book on the Maratha history, that is history of Marathas. So he wrote very wrong, okay, with the prejudice. But these two historians, Marathi historians, Nilkantha Janardhan Kirtane, Vishwanath Kashinath Rajwade, they take the responsibility, they take upon the task to expose Grant Duff's writing. Okay, now up to now we have completed in the last lecture. So today we will see the 2.2. Okay, that is second part from the lesson. That is the Indian historiography and various ideological frameworks. Okay, am I audible to everyone properly? Okay, so do you have any problem up to now? Because I asked you in the last lecture that if you have some doubt, you can ask me in the next lecture. Now, today, if you have some doubt, you can ask me. Or shall I continue the next topic? Hello. Okay, let's start the next topic. Indian historiography, various ideological frameworks. So the first one is colonial historiography. We all of you know that India was a colony of Britishers for almost 150 years. Okay, म्हणजेच भारतावर जवळपास आपण म्हणजे भारत ब्रिटिशांची एक वसाहत होती जवळपास 150 वर्ष. त्यांचं आपल्यावर 150 वर्ष त्यांनी आपल्यावर राज्य केलं, आपल्यावर शासन केलं, वी कॅन से. ओके, सो इंडिया वॉज कॉलोनी ऑफ British for almost 150 years. So whatever the history writing is done in that period, okay, it is called as the colonial historiography, because there is a effect of colonialism, okay, on the history writing on which was done by the Britishers. Okay, the early scholars who studied and wrote Indian history were mainly British officers and Christian missionaries. So basically, all of you know that Britishers were Christians. Okay, and what they used to do? They used to do, we can say, increase their religion. Okay, to promote their religion, that is Christianity. So we know that in the early modern era of the India, whatever the history writing is done, whatever the study about the India has done, okay, those scholars were British officers, okay, and Christian missionaries. We know what was the work of missionaries in the India. Today also there are some Christian missionaries in India who convert people, okay, from different religion to the Christianity. So likewise that in that time also, colonial time also, some British officers were there who studied about the India and wrote about the Indian history. Likewise that some Christian missionaries were there. They also studied about the India and they also write down the history of India. Their prejudice is clearly reflected in the way some of them have ridiculed Indian structure, culture. Okay, so as we have already studied in the last topic, that there was a prejudice about Indian culture and Indian history in the British officers' mind. Okay, भारताबद्दल, भारताच्या इतिहासाबद्दल आणि भारताची जे काही परंपरा, जी काही संस्कृती आहे त्याबद्दल हे जे ख्रिश्चन मिशनरीज आहे आणि ज्या काही ब्रिटिश ऑफिसर्स आहे की ज्यांनी भारताबद्दल रायटिंग केलंय, हिस्ट्री राईट डाऊन केली, ओके, तर त्यांनी भारताला एक प्रकारे रिडिक्युल केलंय. म्हणजेच भारतीय कलेचा, भारतीय परंपरेचा, भारतीय संस्कृतीचा आणि भारतीय इतिहासाचा त्यांनी उपहास उडवलाय, एक प्रकारे मजाक उडवला आहे, वी कॅन से. ओके, सो देअर प्रिज्युडाइस इज क्लिअरली रिफ्लेक्टेड इन द वे. ओके, हाऊ देअर प्रिज्युडाइस इज रिफ्लेक्टेड, त्यांच्या मनात भारताबद्दल एक वेगळीच भावना होती किंवा एक वेगळीच विचार होते की आपली जी संस्कृती आहे ती खालच्या दर्जाची आहे, कमी दर्जाची आहे. ओके, इट रिफ्लेक्ट्स बिकॉज इन देअर रायटिंग्स दे हॅव रिडिक्युल्ड इंडियन कल्चर. म्हणजेच त्यांनी त्यांच्या इतिहास लेखनामध्ये, त्यांच्या हिस्ट्री रायटिंग मध्ये भारतीय संस्कृतीचा एक प्रकारे उपहास उडवलाय, एक प्रकारे मजाक उडवलाय. Their writings were used to justify colonial British rule. Okay, so basically they were justifying that people like you, people of India, deserve the British rule. Okay, whatever we are ruling to Indian people, you deserve this. Okay, what it means basically ते ब्रिटिश ऑफिसर्सनी जी हिस्ट्री रायटिंग केली त्यामध्ये त्यांनी सांगितलंय की भारतीय जे लोक आहे ते अत्यंत खालच्या दर्जाचे आहे, ते अनसिव्हिलाइज्ड आहे. ओके, अनसिव्हिलाइज्ड म्हणजेच काय, त्यांना कोणत्याही प्रकारे वी कॅन से अनसिव्हिलाइज्ड वी कॅन से व्हॉट कॅन बी द वर्ड फॉर इट. ओके, सुसंस्कृत नाहीत. ओके, इंडियन पीपल आर नॉट सुसंस्कृत वी कॅन से. ओके, दे आर नॉट व्हेरी क्लेव्हर, they are not literate. ओके, वो साक्षर पण नाहीत, सुसंस्कृत पण नाहीत आणि जास्त क्लेवर पण हुशार पण नाहीत. त्यामुळं अशा प्रकारच्या इंडियन लोकांवर आम्ही जी सत्ता करतोय, ओके, किंवा आमची जी सत्ता आहे तर ती तुम्ही डिझर्व करता. ओके, तुम्हाला ती गरजेची आहे. सो लाईकवाइज दॅट दे वेअर जस्टिफाईंग देअर रूल ऑन इंडियन पीपल, ऑन इंडियन कॉन्टिनेंट. ओके, सो to support their narrative, to support their colonialism, they used to write the history as per their convenience. Okay, their writings were used to justify the colonial British rule on Indian people. The 5 volumes of Cambridge History of India, published during 1922 to 1937 Common Era, are distinct example of colonial historiography. Okay, so basically Cambridge History of India is one of the book. Okay, it was published during 1922 to 1937, and there was 5 volumes of this book, and this book is example of colonial historiography. Okay, in which they ridiculed Indian culture, they ridiculed Indian history, they ridiculed Indian people, and they justified that you people deserve our rule. Okay, so this is about the colonial historiography. Okay, so do you understand this? What is mean by colonial historiography? Okay, the historiography of India, okay, which is written in the British rule, in the colonial rule by the Britishers, is nothing but we can say colonial historiography. And that historiography was very biased. Okay, they were having prejudice about Indian people, Indian culture, Indian history. Okay, so any doubt in this, anybody? Hello, anybody having any doubt? Okay, okay, do comment like this. Okay, okay guys, the second ideological framework is Orientalist historiography. This is very important from exam point of view. Okay, what is Orientalist historiography? Write a note on Oriental historiography. This can be asked in the exam for 3 to 4 marks. Okay, maximum 3 marks. So let's study. Many European scholars felt curious about civilizations and countries of East. Okay, so guys, do you know which are the countries at the East? Anybody having countries of the East? Hello. Countries, okay. India is okay. Basically, countries which are present to the east of Europe, okay, or Southeast Asian countries. So these are the Asian countries or the East country. In that, what are the countries? There are Indonesia, there is Myanmar, there is Cambodia, Vietnam, there is India, Bangladesh, likewise. So Bangladesh was not at that time basically. Okay, so we can see Indian subcontinent. So there were many European scholars. Okay, at that time, what happened? There were many European scholars who felt curious about civilization and countries of the East. Okay, we know that different revolutions occurred in the Europe. ओके, युरोपमध्ये एक मोठ्या प्रमाणात उत्क्रांती झाली होती. इंडस्ट्रियल रिव्होल्यूशन वॉज देअर, आयडियोलॉजिकल रिव्होल्यूशन वॉज देअर, लाईकवाइज दॅट. सो दे पीपल वेअर वी कॅन से were developed people. Okay, they were doing proper progress at that time, so they get curious about the countries present at the east direction of earth, we can say, or the east to the Europe. So they were curious about the civilization to the east. Okay, different religions to the east, different countries present at the east. Okay, so some of the scholars felt admiration and respect for them. Okay, so basically we know that the Britishes were not uh, respecting our culture, our people, our history, right? But there were some European people, like, okay, they were respecting Indian, or we can say the countries which were at the east, the civilizations which were at the east. Okay, they were admiring that, they were praising them. Okay, and they were giving respect to these countries, these people, and the culture of these east countries. So India was also one of the country to the east. So these scholars were known as the Orientalists. So basically question can be asked that who are called as the Orientalist, or explain Orientalists. So you have to write down that there were many people in the European country who were curious about the civilization and different countries to the east. Okay, and these scholars were having admiration and respect for these countries, for the civilization, for their culture. Okay, and these people are called as the Orientalist. Don't say people. Okay, you can properly use scholars. Okay, because they were clever, they were studying, they were thinking properly. So do you understand who were the Orientalists? Okay guys, so now you will understand that what is Orientalist historiography. So basically the historiography which is done, or history writing which is done by this Orientalist people, Orientalist scholars, is nothing but the Orientalist historiography. As colonial historiography is done in the colonial era by the Britishes, because we were the colony of Britishes. So likewise that whatever the history writing is done about the India by the Orientalists or by the scholars is known as the Orientalist historiography. So let's study about it further. The Orientalists studied the similarities between Sanskrit and some of European languages. So guys, we know that Sanskrit is one of the oldest language in the India or in the world also. Okay, so these Orientalist people get curious about the Sanskrit also, and what they studied, they studied the similarities between Indian Sanskrit language and European language. Some of the European language. There are many European languages in the Europe. Okay, but they studied about the Sanskrit and the European language and their similarities present. They focused more on Vedic tradition and Sanskrit literature. So we all of you know that these people were having interest, having respect, and having admiration for our culture. So they studied about the Vedic tradition. ओके, आपल्या ज्या पुरातन परंपरा आहे, वैदिक परंपरा जी आहे. ओके, अँड संस्कृत लिटरेचर म्हणजेच काय, संस्कृत मध्ये लिहिलं गेलेलं जेवढं काही साहित्य आहे, भारतातलं वाङ्मय आहे, लिटरेचर आहे, त्याबद्दल त्यांनी स्टडी केला. ओके, रामायण, महाभारत या प्रकारचे उपनिषदे, त्यानंतर अथर्ववेद, सामवेद, यजुर्वेद, ओके, ऋग्वेद, अशा प्रकारचे वेगवेगळे जे काही संस्कृतमध्ये लिटरेचर आहे तर ते सर्व त्यांनी स्टडी केलं. Their study resulted into formulating a notion of an ancient language that could be mother of all Indo-European languages. So basically what happened, because of these studies, because of this result, because of this comparison, okay, of Indian culture, Indian literature and Indian languages, what happened, their study resulted into formulating a notion. ओके, म्हणजेच लोकांमध्ये एक प्रकारे एक नोशन क्रिएट झाला किंवा एक प्रकारे एक भावना क्रिएट झाली ऑफ एन्शियंट लँग्वेज. ओके, दॅट कुड बी मदर ऑफ ऑल इंडो युरोपियन लँग्वेजेस. ओके, म्हणजेच काय, त्यांनी एक अशी भाषेचा स्टडी केला, थोडक्यात संस्कृत किंवा इतर लिटरेचर, की ज्या लँग्वेज पासूनच जगातील किंवा युरोपातील सर्व भाषांचा उदय झाला. ओके, थोडक्यात त्यांच्या मनामध्ये एक प्रकारे स्टडीमुळे लोकांच्या मनामध्ये एक विचार निर्माण झाला की भारतातील जे काही एन्शियंट लँग्वेजेस आहे, ओके, तर याच युरोप आणि इतर काही लँग्वेजेस आहे त्यांचा एक स्रोत आहे, त्यांची एक जननी आहे. ओके, so is it clear that what Orientalists studied in India? Okay, because of their study, what happened there? They created a notion, okay, of ancient language that could be a mother of all Indo-European languages. म्हणजेच भारतातील आणि युरोपातील जेवढ्या काही लँग्वेज आहेत त्यांना समान धाग्यात बांधणारी एक लँग्वेज आहे, ज्याप्रमाणे संस्कृत सारखी. तर हा स्टडीमुळे या सर्व गोष्टी समोर आल्या. इन 1784 सर विलियम जॉन फाउंडेड अशियाटिक सोसायटी इन कोलकाता. ओके, व्हॉट हॅपन इन 1784, म्हणजे 1784 दरम्यान मध्ये सर विलियम जोन्स फाउंडेड एशियाटिक सोसायटी इन कोलकाता. ओके, it opened the doors for research in ancient Indian literature and history. So basically there was one society open, one institution open in the Kolkata. Because of that society or that institution, what happened, जे रिसर्च आहे एन्शियंट इंडियन लिटरेचर आणि हिस्ट्रीचं, त्याच्या स्टडी करण्यासाठी सर्व दरवाजे उघडले गेले. म्हणजेच सर्व स्टडी करण्यासाठी एक प्रकारे एक चांगल्या पद्धतीने व्यासपीठ निर्माण झालं, एक प्लॅटफॉर्म निर्माण झाला. Among the Orientalist scholars, Friedrich Max Muller deserves a special mention. Okay, as we are studying about different scholars, okay, in the Europe who were having curiosity and respect and admiration for countries which are at the east. Okay, in that Sir Friedrich Muller, okay, Friedrich Max Muller. So Friedrich Max Muller was one of the Orientalist historian. So we should mention him here because he has his contribution in this field. In his opinion, Sanskrit was the most ancient language of Indo-European languages. ओके, म्हणजेच काय, जेवढ्या इंडियन आणि युरोपियन लँग्वेजेस अस्तित्वात आहेत, एक्झिस्ट करतात, त्या सर्वांमध्ये संस्कृत इज द ओल्डेस्ट लँग्वेज और इट इज द मोस्ट एन्शियंट लँग्वेज. He was deeply interested in Sanskrit literature. Okay, he was deeply interested in Sanskrit literature. संस्कृत मध्ये जे काही साहित्य लिहिलं गेलं तर त्यामध्ये त्याला अत्यंत जास्त इंटरेस्ट होता. That's why he studied it properly. He first translated the Sanskrit text of Hitopadesh in German language. Okay, फ्रेडरिक मॅक्स मुलरने काय केलं, आपला जो काही हितोपदेश जो ग्रंथ आहे संस्कृत मधला, ओके, त्याचं भाषांतर, त्याचं ट्रान्सलेशन जर्मन लँग्वेज मध्ये केलं आणि त्याच्या देशामध्ये त्याला उपस्थित केलं. ओके, he was the editor of 50 volumes of the Sacred Book of the East. So guys, this Sacred Book of East is one of the book, okay, and it has 50 volumes. Okay, many volumes, and Max Muller was the editor of that book, 50 editions, volumes. He also compiled Rig Veda which has been published in 6 volumes. Okay, त्याने काय केलं, ऋग्वेदाचं पण कंपायलेशन केलं in another language, and there was 6 volumes of it. He translated Rigveda into German. As he translated Hitopadesh into German, likewise that Rigveda is also translated in the German by Friedrich Max Müller. Lately, Edward Said, a scholar who has re-evaluated the Orientalist writings, has thrown light on imperialistic interest of Orientalist scholars. Okay, so basically, after Friedrich Max Müller, one historian come. What was the name of that historian? Edward. Okay, Edward Said is the name of that historian. So he was also a scholar. Okay, then what happened? Whatever the Orientalist historiography is done by the scholars, he studied all these writings by different historians. Okay, Edward Said studied all the writings that is done by the Orientalist historiographers, or sorry, historians, and he come to a conclusion after studying the historian writings of the Orientalist. Edward Said come to a conclusion that Orientalist historiography has imperialistic interest, okay, in their writing. Okay, it means what? Whatever the history they have write down about the India or write down about the East countries, it was to establish their rule in these countries. Okay, there was the interest of these people, these Orientalist people, okay, so that they can help to establish the imperial culture or the imperialism in the East countries. म्हणजेच काय, ईस्टकडे ज्या कंट्रीज आहेत त्यांच्यावर राज्य करता यावं याकरताच ओरिएंटलिस्ट जे हिस्टोग्राफर आहेत त्यांनी भारतीय किंवा इतर जे देश आहेत त्यांच्या कल्चरचा अभ्यास केला आणि वेगवेगळ्या लँग्वेज मध्ये त्यांनी ते ट्रान्सलेट केले, जेणेकरून या लोकांच्या संस्कृतीमध्ये काय आहे हे त्यांना कळावं आणि त्यामधील काही चुकीच्या गोष्टी शोधून त्या देशातील लोकांवर आपल्या राज्य करता यावं. सो दिस इज नथिंग बट दी imperialistic interest of Orientalist scholars. So Edward Said throw light on this. Okay, so guys, this was all about the Orientalist historiography. Friedrich Max Müller is very important here. So anybody having any doubt in this Orientalistic historiography? Orientalist historiography. First we studied colonial historiography, Orientalist historiography. Okay, nobody is having any doubt. So guys, next one is nationalistic historiography. म्हणजेच राष्ट्रवादी इतिहास लेखन. Okay, राष्ट्रवादी मतलब nationalist people, okay, who is proud of their country, their nation, their culture, their history. Okay, the writings of Indian historians who were trained in British educational system show an inclination to restore the pride in the ancient glory of India and the self-esteem of the Indian readers. Okay, now see that we know that whatever the historiography or the history writing about India is done by the Britishes, it was with the prejudice. Okay, it was not respecting Indian culture, Indian glory. Okay, but what happened in the rule of British India? Okay, जेव्हा ब्रिटिशांचं आपल्यावर शासन होतं तर त्यांनी आपल्यासाठी जी शिक्षण पद्धती आणली. ओके, तर त्या शिक्षण पद्धतीमध्ये काय झालं, बरेचसे भारतीय लोक शिकले. ओके, दे वर ट्रेंड इन British educational system. So they write about the history of India. But what is their history writing shows? Okay, Indian historians who were trained in the British educational system, they write the history of India. Okay, history about our country, and they show in that their writings, okay, about the to restore the प्राईड ऑफ एन्शंट ग्लोरी ऑफ इंडिया. ओके, भारताची जी ग्लोरी होती, ओके, भारताची जी एक प्रकारे एक वी कॅन से ग्लोरी. ओके, ग्लोरी मीन्स जो काय समृद्ध इतिहास होता भारताचा. ओके, अँड सेल्फ इस्टीम ऑफ इंडियन रीडर्स. आतापर्यंत काय झालं, ब्रिटिशांनी लिहिलेलं हिस्ट्री वाचून भारतीयांच्या मनात एक प्रकारे भारताबद्दलच एक खराब इमेज तयार झाली होती. ओके, because the history writing was wrong by the British people, and that's why people were not confident about our history in India. They were not proud of our country many times. So what happened, some historians come, they write about the history, and their inclination was to restore ancient Indian glory and to restore the self-esteem, the confidence, the proud in our readers, in the Indian people. Okay, their writings are known as nationalistic historiography because these historians were national, okay, very nationalist. They were having proud about our culture, our history, our people, our ancient glory. The same thing they tried to restore, okay, which was vanished because of the British writings. They tried to restore all these things, all this glory, all this proud, all this culture of India, okay, and self-esteem and confidence in Indian people about our culture. Nationalistic writing in Maharashtra were inspired by Vishnu Shastri Chipalunker. Now see, who were these historians? Who were these nationalistic historians? Okay, so in Maharashtra, Vishnu Shastri Chipalunker was the nationalistic historian, and he inspired many people to write the nationalistic history. Vishnu Shastri Chipalunker. He criticized the prejudiced history of Indian ancient India written by British officers. As we have already studied, that Britishers has write down the history of India with the prejudice, with the wrong intention. So Vishnu Shastri Chipalunker, in their writing, he criticized these officers that you people have done wrong, you people have defamed us, you people are defaming Indian culture, okay, not respecting Indian culture. He criticized all these things. The nationalistic historians tried to seek the golden era of Indian history. ओके, भारतीय इतिहासाचा जो काही सुवर्ण काळ होता, तर त्या सुवर्ण काळाचा शोध घेण्याचा प्रयत्न या सर्व जे काही नॅशनलिस्ट हिस्टोरियन्स होते त्यांनी प्रयत्न केला. दे ट्राय टू सीक दी golden era of Indian history. They are at the times blamed for ignoring the critical analysis of the historical truth. Okay, it means what? Okay, there are basically two things. Okay, we are proud of our country, but in our country also there are very wrong things in our country, like sati pratha. Okay, not giving proper respect to the lower caste peoples. So these were the wrong things in Indian culture. But if still we are having proud of all that thing, that is wrong. Okay, it is not critical thinking. Okay, yes, it is important to have pride in our country, but we should also admit our mistakes. We should admit our wrong things, bad things in our culture. Okay, so basically nationalistic historiographers ignore all these things. Okay, they ignored critical historical truth to write down. They did not analyze properly. Okay, because of the proud of their culture, proud of our culture, proud of our history in our country. Okay, so they criticize, they were also criticized. म्हणजेच हे जे भारताचे राष्ट्रवादी पत्रकार इतिहासकार होते त्यांच्यावर पण थोडीशी टीका झाली की तुम्ही हा जो इतिहास लिहिताय भारताबद्दलचा, तर त्यामध्ये तुम्ही सायंटिफिक अप्रोच नाही वापरत. ओके, किंवा तुम्ही क्रिटिकल अनालिसिस करत नाहीयेत. ओके, अशा प्रकारची टीका त्यांच्यावर झाली. महादेव गोविंद रानडे, रामकृष्ण गोपाल भंडारकर, विनायक दामोदर सावरकर, ओके, विदा सावरकर, राजेंद्र लाल मिश्रा, रमेश चंद्र मजमुदार, ओके, मजुमदार, काशी प्रसाद जयस्वाल, राधा कुमार कुमुद मुखर्जी, Bhagwan Lal Indraji, Vasudev Vishnu Mishra Mirashi, and Ananta Sadashiv Altekar. Okay, are the names of some renowned scholars among nationalistic historians. Okay, तर हे सर्व नाव तुम्ही जे बघितले, विनायक दामोदर सावरकर तर सर्वांना माहितच आहे. ओके, त्यांच्या कार्याबद्दल, त्यांचे भारताच्या स्वातंत्र्य लढ्यात असलेले योगदान, भारतीय लोकांमध्ये एक प्राऊड क्लिअर करण्यासाठी, एक सेल्फ इस्टीम रेस्टोर करण्यासाठी त्यांनी अत्यंत प्रभावी लेखन केलेलं आहे, बुक लिहिलेले आहेत. ओके, सागरास ही त्यांची कविता तुम्ही शिकले असाल. ओके, तर अशा प्रकारचे हे जे आहेत हे नॅशनलिस्टिक हिस्टोरियन्स आहे. ओके, त्यांनी नॅशनलिस्टिक हिस्टोरियोग्राफी केली. So do you understand about nationalistic historiography? We are going to study it more in deep. But still now, do you have any problem in this? Hello? Okay, all right, all right. Okay, so let's take the next topic now. So guys, there is some more information in this box. We will study about this. Okay, Justice Mahadev Govind Ranade has explained the background of rise of Maratha Empire in great details in his book The Rise of Maratha Power. According to him, it was not like a suddenly erupted forest fire, but the ground for it in Maharashtra on the social, cultural and religious level was getting ready over the prolonged period. So basically Mahadev Govinda Ranade was one of the nationalist historian. So he write down one book that is The Rise of Maratha Power, and in his book he write about the background of Maratha Empire. की मराठा जो शासन होता किंवा मराठा जे साम्राज्य होतं की जे छत्रपती शिवाजी महाराजांनी स्थापन केलं, तर हे कसं झालं, ओके, ते उदयास कसं आलं, तर याबद्दलची जी माहिती आहे ते त्यांनी त्यांच्या बुक मध्ये लिहिली आहे. ओके, आणि त्यामध्ये त्यांनी दाखवून दिलं. ओके, अकॉर्डिंग टू हिम इट वॉज नॉट अ सडन इरप्टेड फॉरेस्ट फायर. त्यांच्या मते मराठा साम्राज्य म्हणजेच काय असं अचानक उदयास आलेलं साम्राज्य नव्हतं, तर त्याचा जो पाया आहे, ओके, त्याचं जे फाउंडेशन आहे ते बऱ्याच काळापासून वेगवेगळ्या स्तरावर म्हणजे सोशल स्तरावर, कल्चरल आणि रिलिजियस लेवलवर ते पूर्वीपासूनच चालू होतं बेसिकली. अँड आफ्टर दॅट Maratha empire was established. Now see V.K. Rajwade. Okay, Rajwade is well known for his writings in Marathi on varied subjects like history, linguistics, etymology, grammar, etc. Okay, he was the firm opinion that we should write our own history. So guys, we know that our history was written by very first by the Britishes, and Britishes has not respected our culture, our religion, and our country. So Rajwade is famous for he's well known for his writings in the Marathi. Okay, on various subjects. What are the subjects? He write down about on the history. He write down on the linguistics, means the languages. Okay, etymology means words. Okay, and also the grammar. Okay, he was also firm opinion that our history should be written by us. ओके, म्हणजेच ते त्यांचं एक मत ठाम होतं की आपला जो इतिहास आहे तो आपण स्वतःच लिहिला पाहिजे. ही कंपाइल्ड अँड एडिटेड 22 व्हॉल्युम्स ऑफ मराठ्यांच्या इतिहासाची साधने. ओके, त्यांनी काय केलं, मराठ्यांच्या इतिहासाची साधने म्हणून एक बुक आहे ते कंपाइल केलं आणि ते 22 भागांमध्ये खंडांमध्ये ते प्रकाशित केलं इन द 22 व्हॉल्युम्स. He wrote very scholarly prefaces to each of the 22 volumes. ओके, जे काही 22 व्हॉल्युम्स आहे तर त्याच्याबद्दल त्यांनी जे प्रिफेस म्हणजे जी काही प्रस्तावना आहे, ओके, ती अत्यंत अभ्यासपूर्ण लिहिलेली आहे. He stated, history is the all-inclusive image of past societies. Okay, it does not include only the stories of political images, conspiracies, and wars for seizing power. Okay, he also stated that history is all inclusive image of the past society. It means whatever different aspect which is related to the society, history is all about that. Economy, trading, okay, settlements, society, different relations in the people. Okay, it is not only about the political images. It is not only about the conspiracies and war that were fought to take over the power. म्हणजेच फक्त सत्ता हस्तगत करण्यासाठी जे काही युद्ध लढले गेले, जे काही वेगवेगळ्या प्रकारच्या कॉन्स्पिरसीज रचल्या गेल्या, ओके, तर याच गोष्टी म्हणजे इतिहास नाही. त्यांच्या मते हिस्ट्री इज नथिंग बट ऑल इन्क्लुसिव्ह image of past societies. He insisted that history should be written only using authentic documentary source. Okay, he stated, insisted, म्हणजेच त्यांनी आग्रह केला की आपण जे काही हिस्ट्री लिहित आहोत, ओके, इट शुड ओनली बी रिटन युझिंग द ऑथेंटिक डॉक्युमेंटरी सोर्स. Okay, whatever we are writing, there should be a evidence for that. There should be a authentic document source for that. You cannot write down on your own, okay, anything conspiracy, okay, anything fiction. Okay, anybody have any problem? Okay, all right. Okay, the next paragraph now. The nationalistic historiography helped in the triggering of independence. Okay, triggering of the independence movement of the Indian people against the British. So as I told you that nationalistic historiography, what it, how it affected, how it helped to fight against the British. Basically, our historians write down the books about our history and they restore the glory of India, glory of Indian culture. They increased, they restore the confidence in our people. They restore the proud or the pride of our country, our culture, our history in the people. So it helped Indian people or the Indian independence movement, okay, of the Indian people against the Britishers. In this aspect, the book, The Indian War of Independence 1857, म्हणजेच या आस्पेक्टने, या दृष्टीने 1857चा जो उठाव आहे त्याबद्दल एक बुक आहे, द इंडियन वॉर ऑफ इंडिपेंडन्स 1857, द रिटन बाय विनोद दामोदर सावरकर, इज द ग्रेट इम्पॉर्टन्स. Okay, so as per the national historiography, this is the one of the book, okay, it is of great importance, that is the war of Indian war of independence 1857. 1857चा जो उठाव झाला ब्रिटिशांविरोधात पूर्ण भारतामध्ये, तर त्याबद्दल एक बुक लिहिलंय आपले विनय दामोदर सावरकर यांनी. ओके, and it is of very great importance. By reading this book, many people get inspired, okay, to fight against the British and to get independence from them. The nationalistic historiography provided a momentum to the writing of regional histories too. Now, what is the regional history? So basically, regional history means we know Maharashtra, there is Maratha history. If you go to the Rajasthan, there are Rajput people. If you go to the Punjab, Haryana, there is Punjabi people. Okay, different king, there different empires. Likewise, that. So this is nothing but the regional history. So because of the nationalistic history, regional history was also get the momentum. Okay, to write down. So this question I have underlined because this is asked in the exam. That explain the nationalistic historiography provided a momentum to the writing of regional histories too. As a result, the attention of historians was drawn to the geographic conditions and history of South Indian regions. ओके, ज्याप्रमाणे आपल्याकडे नॉर्थ इंडियन स्टेट्स आहेत त्याचप्रमाणे साऊथ इंडियन मध्ये पण साऊथ भागामध्ये दक्षिण भारतामध्ये पण वेगवेगळे स्टेट्स आहेत. त्यांचं जे जिओग्राफिकल लोकेशन आहे, त्यांचा जो काही सिग्निफिकन्स आहे, ओके, geographical condition history of South Indian region, okay, it also get a attention from all over the India. Okay, because of the regional writings, our attention goes to the South Indian states also and South Indian culture also. Okay, so this is guys all about the nationalistic historiography. Okay, this is all about the historiography. Okay, national historiography. So is it clear to everyone or anybody having any doubt in this? So before moving ahead, we will just see what is written here. Okay, V.K. Rajwade founded Bharat Itihas. Okay, संशोधक मंडळ. Okay, Bharat Itihas संशोधक मंडळ. V.K. Rajwade, he founded this in Pune on 7th July 1910. Okay, to facilitate historical research. We know that V.K. Rajwade is well known for his writings in Marathi on different topics like linguistic, epitymology, okay, grammar, after that history, okay, and to make the research in all this field, he founded one, we can say, institute, that is Bharat Itihas Sanshodhak Mandal, in which the research about the history was done, and it was founded in 7th July 1910. Okay, in 1910. See here, V.K. Rajwade's one quote is given here. त्यांचा एक स्टेटमेंट इथं दिलेलं आहे, आपण बघूयात. ह्युमन हिस्ट्री इज डिफाइंड बाय टाइम अँड स्पेस. ओके, त्यांचं मत काय आहे की मनुष्याची जी हिस्ट्री आहे किंवा मॅनकाइंडची जी हिस्ट्री आहे तर ती इट इज बाउंडेड बाय और डिफाइंड बाय द टाइम अँड स्पेस. म्हणजे स्पेस म्हणजेच ठिकाण अँड टाइम मीन्स पिरियड और काळ. ओके, म्हणजेच लोकांची जी हिस्ट्री आहे ती एका वेळेप्रमाणे आणि ठिकाणानुसार डिफाईन केलेलं जातं. Describing any event necessitates that the final portrayal should be spread on the complete canvas of the given time and the space. Okay, so basically he is telling us that describing any describing any event necessitates. It means if you are describing any event which was happened in the past, then result of that should be the spread on the complete canvas of the given time and space. It means basically the meaning of this is whenever you are writing a history about an event, when you are describing any event, then you should think about all the aspects of time at that time and all the aspects of the space of that time. So whenever you finally write it down, then that writing should show everything about that time and everything about that place where that event took place. Only if a balanced combination of three factors, that is time, space and personalities, is present, then only an event does qualifies to be called so. Okay, basically he told that in every writing, okay, in every description, there should be three factors. What are these three factors? Okay, there should be the balanced combination of these three factors. So these three factors are time, okay, time period of that time, okay, that event, space of that event, and whatever the personalities that are related to each, okay, each event. So you should have proper balanced combination of the three factors, okay, and then only we can say it is proper history writing. Okay, so all this is about the, okay, all this is about the nationalistic historiography. Okay guys, so this is about nationalistic historiography. Okay, is it clear to everyone now? Okay, all right, Prerna. So guys, next topic is historiography in the post independence era. म्हणजेच काय, आतापर्यंत तर आपण बघितलं की भारत स्वतंत्र होण्याच्या अगोदर प्री इंडिपेंडन्स इरा मध्ये जे काही घडलं, जे काही रायटिंग्स आहे एन्शियंट, मिडिवल आणि मॉडर्न आपण बघितलं. परंतु आफ्टर पोस्ट इंडिपेंडन्स इरा, ओके, भारताची जी हिस्टोग्राफी आहे तर ती कशी आहे ती आपण बघणार आहोत या पुढील टॉपिक मध्ये, पार्ट मध्ये. ओके, okay, now see, now along with writings of dynastic histories, okay, we know that in ancient times, in medieval times, there was different dynasties, different empires, okay, in India, different kingdoms in India. So along with all these histories, the cultural, social and economic histories were also being written. म्हणजेच काय, या राजांबद्दल जी माहिती लिहितो, ह्या वेगवेगळ्या प्रकारचं आपल्यावर जे डायनेस्टीज आहेत, एम्पायर्स आहे, साम्राज्य आहे, त्यांच्या सोबतच आपण कल्चरल, सोशल आणि इकॉनॉमिक हिस्ट्री सुद्धा लिहायला चालू केली. ओके, scholars of the post independence era began to feel the need of writing histories of various communities, sciences, economic systems, political ideologies, okay, and also cultural aspects. So in post independence era there were many scholars in India. Okay, so these scholars feel a need, okay, they feel a need to write down the history about different communities, different economic systems in India, okay, whatever scientific progress we are doing, whatever the political ideologies that are present in India, okay, also different cultural aspects of India. Okay, we have India is having very diverse culture. Okay, so these scholars think that we should write down the history of all these things also. The historiography of this era has been influenced mainly by three ideological schools. Okay, that is Marxist history, subaltern history, and feminist history. Okay, so all these three things we will study later on. Okay, so okay guys, that three factors or three ideologies we will study in the next lecture. Okay, Marxist history, subaltern history, and another one is feminist history. Okay, we will study about this later on. So anybody having any doubt? Hello. Okay guys, if you feel that you have any doubt, not understood any topic, you can contact me, okay, in the next lecture also, and you can WhatsApp me also. So for today it is over, and kindly revise the topic that we have covered today. Okay, it will help you to retain whatever we have studied right now. Okay, so till that, goodbye and good night. Take care. You can leave the class now.